Alright guys, here we go. Spoiler review has now commenced. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the oh my god. What's happening, my film nerds? Dave the Film Junkie here, bringing you my spoiler review of Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice. Sit back and relax, folks, because you know me, I like to ramble even with my normal reviews. So yeah, this video might be a little long, just put the coffee on and or just pour yourself a drink. That's what I usually do. So here we go, guys. Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice. Let's see. Starts off with, of course, Thomas and Martha Wayne getting shot in front of the theater. The origin story of Batman, which is something we do not need to see again. Now, a lot of people were complaining about that too. I mean, it's pretty much, when it comes to Batman, we've seen so many iterations of the parents getting shot in the alley. We've seen the origin story so many times that we don't need to see it again. It's just like we don't need to see Peter Parker get bit by that spider once again. So to start off like that, it was kind of like, oh, they're going to start off with it like that. Cool. I will admit, though, the way it's shot is quite beautiful. Snyder really added some artsy, dramatic, just wow. It wasn't just like a bam, bam, boom, It was pretty dramatic. And it's kind of funny, too, because I'm going to talk about this later and maybe in other videos, too. The fact that Jeffrey Dean Morgan plays Thomas Wayne, anybody else feel like it's kind of weird that he's playing just not really much? He says one thing, which is Martha, and that's pretty much it. Does anybody else feel that maybe he's being saved for something else? We'll talk about that in a bit. Well, it's kind of funny when little Bruce is getting lifted up by the bats or whatever. I mean, that was kind of like, wait, what? Oh, well, obviously a dream sequence. The first of many. Then we jump right into the Man of Steel event, the Zod event, and everything. We see Bruce Wayne's point of view of it, which is great. I thought this part was just really intense, seeing his point of view, and just there was something very creepy about it too, because we all know what happened in Man of Steel. We all saw Superman's point of view. We all saw that action with the music and everything, but this time we're seeing it from other people's point of view, and I don't know why. I just found it really just like haunting, like especially when you see like when they're inside the Wayne building, and that one dude, he's calling him on the phone, and you see Superman and Zod just like fly into the building, and you hear the crashing. For some reason, just seeing it from a different angle gave me goosebumps. And then, of course, the laser eyes, and we know what's happening, and it's just, it's nuts. And then Bruce Wayne, of course, just being Bruce Wayne, which is so fucking awesome, runs toward the destruction, and then, of course, saves the little girl. And then there's that whole thing, too, in which I think for dramatic effect, see, part of the reason why they put the scene of the parents getting killed again, I think they really want to emphasize parents in this movie too, but I just have this whole other theory about just Jeffrey Dean Morgan. So then we fast forward 18 months, which is kind of like, I mean, we heard that was going to be the case before, but you're almost going, okay, what happened in that 18 months? What was going on? And, it's almost like, obviously there was a Batman, there was a Superman. What was going on in 18 months? I mean, obviously Batman was doing some, I guess, research, recon on Superman, just watching him a little bit, but it just doesn't seem like anything was really happening between these two in those 18 months. Then we get to the desert scene, and I had some issues with this scene. First off, like I said in my normal review, it just seems like they have to shoehorn, they have to put Lois Lane in peril all the time, no matter how ridiculous it is. And it just seems a little ridiculous that a reporter for the Daily Planet is like held captive with a sheet over her head over in South Africa or Africa, or wherever the heck it is, and it's just, she's in this situation that's like, okay, if she didn't have Superman, she'd be fucked. And then we get our first glimpse of Superman, and okay, see, this is one of the real issues I have with this movie. It just seems like they don't want to challenge themselves, like the writers, Zack Snyder, and all them. They don't want to challenge themselves to really show us some really good Superman action. Because he just shows up, crashes through the ceiling, has like a really like sadistic kind of smile on his face, and then tackles the dude who's holding a gun to Lois's head. And it's like, did he just fucking kill him? Sure, it was kind of a funny moment. People chuckled in the theater, but it was just kind of, I don't know, lame. And not to mention the bad guys that just shot up the place and took some stuff. They're that way. Go fly and get him, Soups. I just think that they really should have showed like a crazy, epic Superman just by himself, saving a bunch of people, really showing what he's worth. Like something that's just crazy where, like in the line of like in Iron Man 3, when Air Force One is crashing down and Tony Stark has to really like use his head to get everybody to safety, something in the lines of that. I wish they would have had something like that where you almost think that he's not going to succeed, but he does succeed. It just would have helped. It just would have really helped, I think. Instead of this whole desert thing with Lois and too much Lois Lane. There's just too much Lois Lane. Then we get our first appearance of Batman, and holy shit. This is the Batman that I've been wanting to see, man. I just tell you what, I mean, as much as Nolan did great with his Batman, and other Batmans have been great too, this was just so creepy. This was eerie. And when all the people that were in Captistan that they got saved by a devil, I mean, fucking A. If you see that, I mean, like he's on the wall, in the corner of the wall, you see that, of course you're going to start firing. Then he dodges the shots by almost looking like he's crawling on the ceiling or something, and then he gets out. I mean, that was just like, creepy. Very creepy. Then we get our introduction to the Batcave, and we have our first little back and forth with Alfred and Bruce, which is great. Affleck and Irons, perfect. Cannot wait for standalone Batman movies. I thought Irons played a terrific Alfred, and then of course everybody's loving Ben Affleck as Batman / Bruce Wayne, and it just looks good. Everything looks great, and just their banter back and forth. It has that dynamic. And yeah, I have no complaints about that. When we get our introduction to Lex Luthor, yeah, it's a little like, well, okay, what's going on here? Cool. Jesse Eisenberg's style is a little, I mean, everybody's comparing it to Jim Carrey's Riddler, like pre-Riddler, like Nigma, which I can really see that. I can definitely see that. He didn't really annoy me as much as I thought he was going to, but at first you're just kind of like, okay, what is his vendetta? I mean, you could tell that he hates Superman, and you can almost tell that he's trying to come up with technology or something to just, like, protect the world. Like, as if he might know something is indeed coming. So we have that mixed with Scoot McNairy's character, who got his legs, of course, lopped off, lost his family. He's pissed off. All that with the politics and everything, and then they just really keep going back to that. And that's what a lot of people were griping about. I even had gripes myself. I really wish they would have handled all the political stuff, like right in the beginning, like the first half an hour, 20 minutes, half an hour. I wish they would have just kind of wrapped all that up right there. But sadly they didn't. But so you keep on getting that back and forth of like, is he good, is he not? And of course he's struggling with himself. Yeah, we get it. The first little nightmare scene was kind of cool because you have Bruce Wayne walking, to visit his parents' grave in that, whatchamacallit, I don't even know what that's called, like off the top of my head. I don't know. But yeah, then what seems to be like a parademon that just comes crashing through. Nice little introduction to the dream sequence. Cool. I didn't mind that at all. And then we got more talking about the whole Russian thing and what's going on with that. And then we finally get the invitation to the party. Bruce Wayne does, and then he shows up to the party, and we kind of get what we saw on that that one trailer that everybody didn't like. The back and forth between Wayne and Kent was fantastic. I love the line where he just goes, "The Daily Planet. Do I own that one, or does the other guy?" Who's he talking about? The other guy. Who's he talking about? Some people might say Lex because obviously he's rich. But I'm like, well, no. Why would Lex Luthor own the Daily Planet? Then again, maybe he does. But for some reason, I was really hoping that it was Oliver Queen. Because we know that Queen Industries is part of this world. We saw that little infographic. And I was like, maybe. But who knows if that's going to be the case. We know that Green Arrow is not going to be part of the Justice League. But hey, you never know. They might throw a curveball. So Bruce's vendetta is, of course, to steal information. He hooks up his little thing to download information, encrypted information. Diana Prince is there, which is great. You have all three of them there in their alter egos, and I love the fact they're there in their identities. And of course, we got the back and forth from Clark Kent, and then we get Lex Luthor. He's actually he mentions, and he starts almost losing his mind, which was kind of cool. I kind of liked how when he's making his speech, he kind of just like, he has his little glitches. I mean, he kind of reminds me of Nicolas Cage and Matchstick Men, kind of with the little twitches. Yeah, some might find it annoying. I actually was like, kind of adds to the character. But he mentions Zeus and thunder and everything like that, and you actually see Diana roll her eyes because, hey, let's face it, I'm pretty sure that she might be the daughter of Zeus or something. They're going to go by the New 52 storyline. I love the fact that Clark was hearing what Bruce was hearing. That was kind of cool that he was hearing him talk to Alfred and everything. I really liked that. And then all of a sudden he gets sidetracked because everybody's watching that there's a big, huge fire during the Day of the Dead. So cool, let's see some Superman rescuing some people in a fire. So we see Clark grab his tie. I'm like, oh, okay, let's see him do this. No, it just cuts to him landing with the little girl and fires behind him, and then this pretty cool scene. I'll give it that, with everybody like touching him like he's God. But I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. They don't want to challenge themselves with Superman. They go the easy route. I want to see him rescue people. I want to see him do that. Yes, they do like a little montage, which was cool. I thought that was pretty cool, with different people talking, like actual people in the news. Neil deGrasse Tyson, that was pretty cool. I love the fact that they did that, and they did kind of like a little montage, but I want to actually see something. Don't just take the easy route. Let's see some epic Superman rescuing with something that's pretty crazy. But it feels like they just didn't want to do that. All right, the nightmare sequences. Okay, so I will say this. I did like the nightmare sequences, mostly. I did not like how they were executed. Bruce Wayne's like about to, he's going to he's got the encryption thing going on with the information that he has, and then all of a sudden it just goes, ew. Okay. I know sometimes when I'm hacking stuff, I just randomly fall asleep and have apocalyptic dreams with flying creatures and me killing people. But I think this is pretty cool. I also have a crazy idea of how they would have made it where people would have loved it. But here we go. So Batman comes out, of course, he's wearing the desert gear, the Mad Max gear or whatever, and then he looks out, everything's fucked up. You see the Omega symbol, that is, of course, Darkseid. And then he's basically trying to get kryptonite from somebody. They trick him with, like, green light bulbs. They start attacking, and then he starts fucking everybody up, and he's shooting people. And people should not... I mean, I don't give a fuck that Batman kills. I don't care. It seems like people really started caring that Batman would kill after the Nolan trilogy. Like, it was emphasized in there, so now people are just totally all about it. Not forgetting that Michael Keaton really killed a lot of people. Even Val Kilmer killed Two-Face. I mean, Jesus Christ, people. But whatever. In the dream sequence, I could see him killing people. This is like apocalyptic future. Yeah, Batman's going to have to be a little different. He's got to shoot. Not to mention, it kind of reminds me of the Flashpoint Batman. This is apocalyptic future, guys. Maybe, I'm just saying. You almost think like they're trying to show us stuff without actually showing stuff, and people just didn't like it because maybe they just didn't think about it over here or didn't know about this certain story. Parademons start flying. I mean, that was a great scene because it like just pans over. Such a beautifully shot sequence, I must say. But it just would have been really cool when he's fighting some people, just to add to the nightmare. What if he just like ripped off the mask of one of those Superman dudes and it was the Joker? Could you imagine it was Jared Leto's Joker just like there, and he says something like, "You let your family die," and starts laughing like crazy? Then all of a sudden it just cuts to like him strapped up. See, I didn't like that either. Did he get knocked out in his dream and then wakes up in his dream? Yeah. This part was really cool, though. And, of course, we already saw this part. We already saw the clip of this part where Superman comes down and then he kills, like, just with his laser eyes, just starts zapping guys. And then, of course, takes the mask off. And then he talks about that you took her away from me, and obviously talking about Lois, and then he obviously like rips the heart out of Batman. That was a really cool sequence. I really like that. And then of course Bruce wakes up, and guess what? He wakes up within a dream. It's almost like Inception, which I didn't like that part either. But we got Flash, which looks to be coming through like a boom tube or whatnot, just coming through. He's got some kind of armor on. He's got a helmet, almost like an Iron Man thing, and it opens up, and he just... something weird's going on. I mean, it threw like me off, but then I got really excited that when I realized it was the Flash. This scene right here gives me fucking chills. There was a bootleg of it that was floating around, and it's still floating around, I think, and I've watched it many times. For some reason, this just gives me chills, and it gets me really excited for an Ezra Miller Flash. I mean, just the way he was talking and yelling and saying... he said, "She's the key. You were right about him. You were always right. Am I too soon? I'm too soon. What the fuck?" Just the way he was screaming out. I mean, I was just like, what is going on? I want to know more. And that really got me excited for Justice League, because obviously it's hinting at Injustice, where Superman goes nutso and turns evil. How are you... people get excited for that. I just love that. I just love that scene. Like, it just gives me goosebumps. Give me goosebumps just thinking about it. And I just love how Ezra Miller just played it out, yelling, and just, I don't know, just for some reason, just really got me super excited for his Flash. But I just found it kind of weird that it was a dream inside of a dream, and then he wakes up again. It's like, that could have just happened in reality. Why couldn't it happen in reality? It's okay, whatever. All I know is I really love that cameo. And that leads me to the whole, like, are they going to do, possibly, since we're seeing already time travel or whatnot, or multiverse, whatever, are we going to see that Flashpoint story or a version of that Flashpoint story? Which leads me back to Jeffrey Dean Morgan. If Zack Snyder cast a well-known actor who doesn't just like make cameos, I mean, obviously he played the comedian in Watchmen, so they're friends maybe, and I thought, oh, he's just gonna do that, and that's cool. Maybe they'll show some flashbacks of Thomas Wayne, but no, they didn't, or maybe they will in the future, but I just have a feeling that maybe, just maybe, they might reference that Flashpoint story, and we might see a Thomas Wayne Batman. The movie kind of drags from here, like, it really does just, I mean, of course, we have that cool sequence where, you know, Batman's chasing guys, and, you know, he's trying to get that kryptonite, and the Batmobile chasing. Great stuff. Yes, he is not caring, and he's probably killing people. Get over it. Who cares? Runs into Superman, and we have that scene, which we saw a clip of that, too. Too much. And at the same time, it's like, hey, Superman, there were some bad guys that just, the same bad guys, you let them go again. So yeah, the movie kind of slows down. We have this, it just kind of goes back to the political stuff, and then of course the Capitol scene, which I thought was, it was cool, but then at the same time, it's just like, man, Superman just really is not utilizing his powers. X-ray vision, scan the place, use some shit, and then the whole place blows up, which was crazy, surprising, cool, but then of course they showed this shot of him just in the fire, and he's just kind of like, God damn it. And I was just kind of going, again, they're not, it's like they're not even really trying with him. And not only does Bruce Wayne have a dream sequence, Clark does too when he's walking up a mountain. Why did he need to see his dad? And I mean, I understand, little cameo from Kevin Costner, but this was just so out of place, and yeah, it didn't need to be in the movie. Oh, and what would have been a freaking awesome sequence, they skipped right over to Batman breaking into LexCorp. I'll say that again. Batman breaking into LexCorp. Why would you skip that? No, they just go right over it and you see the aftermath, which was cool. Lex walking up to where the kryptonite was supposed to be, and there's a Batarang right in there. I like that, but still, I would have liked it better to see what happened. Now on to Wonder Woman's little vendetta, her little thing for Lex and what was on that information, and we're going to talk about when Bruce Wayne found everything. It was cool that he finds this picture and it shows her, and it with the music and everything, you see Steve Trevor, supposedly Chris Pine, you see those guys. We know that we're going to see that in the Wonder Woman movie. I thought that was great, but it just seemed a little shitty and a little dumb that the only reason why Diana was after Lex or whatever was for that photo. In an age where you can have digital photos that you can make millions and millions of copies of within seconds, that doesn't really work. I was really hoping she was looking for some sort of artifact or something. That would have been cool, but hey, photograph, cool. Still a nice little reveal. I liked it. The reveal, not the actual event. It was just kind of like, come on, be a little more creative. So then we get the cameos, the footage of all of the Flash, Cyborg, and Aquaman. The Flash, we get another cameo, which I thought was cool. You know, you see him in there. It's kind of weird, though, because he does have the Ezra Miller style with the hair and the chops and stuff. He didn't look like he does now, which I think he's going to end up looking with the shorter hair and everything. But it's just, I thought it was pretty cool. You know, someone's holding up a liquor store, and he just kind of goes, boom, and then just like, and then like his face, when he's done, he's just kind of got a little smirk, like, that's right, bitch. That's right. I'm going to get my milk now. Cyborg's footage, creepy. Loved it. Loved it more than the other two because it's just, you see his dad, you know the story because, you know, he's trying to bring his son back using cybernetics, having a tough time, and then he has a mother box, which a lot of people didn't know what the hell that is either, but the fact that it matter is that's what's going to power him, and as soon as it starts doing that, you hear Victor, you hear him go, ah! And it's just, creepy, almost just as good as that first Flash cameo. Then we have the Aquaman footage. Nah, I didn't really like it. It just was a little, like, okay, you got like a camera on a freaking thing, and he just kind of comes out like, hey, what's up? And then he just, I don't know. I thought he was going to have more in this movie. I thought maybe he was actually going to physically show up because we saw the reveal, the poster, and we saw the toys. I just kind of figured that, but Flash had more. I don't quite understand that. Then we finally get to the showdown. I love how Batman just has that smirk and he goes, well, here I am. And I thought the fight was great. A lot of people said it was too short. I have a whole, you know what, I'm not going to get into detail with all that, but I thought the fight was great. It was pretty damn brutal. For a minute there, I thought, is Batman really going to kill Superman? The way that the fight ends with the whole Martha thing, touching. It is touching, and I've seen people's reviews, like this one guy named Brett Culp. I posted it on my Twitter, the video. It really struck a chord with him, and I could see, I've talked to people who've lost their parents or a parent or their mom, and it really touched them. I could see that. It's just, what I had a problem with is, why is Superman calling his mom by his first name? It was funny too because not too long ago I thought, it's kind of funny how both Bruce and Clark's parent or mom is named Martha. I wonder if that was that just something that happened a long time ago, or did they mean to do that? Probably not, but I just thought it was kind of funny. But I just thought, it was just kind of lame. And then of course Lois, intervenes because we gotta put Lois in there. It almost seems like she's contractually supposed to be in a certain amount of minutes. I don't know. And I love the fact that Batman decides, like, no, I'm gonna go rescue your mom. I got this, man. It's almost like Batman or Bruce, you know, he's trying to like make it up. Like, you know what? I fucked up. I shouldn't have doubted this guy. I'm gonna go rescue his mom. And that scene, it's so good. Yes, we saw a lot in that one trailer, but I mean, it's obviously the fight is a lot longer. And I love when like he rescues her and he doesn't say I'm Batman. Do you notice that? He doesn't say I'm Batman. He says I'm a friend of your son's. And I love that. I love the fact that he didn't say I'm Batman. And then of course her retort is like, oh yeah, I guessed it because of the cape. It was nice. It was just a nice moment. I really enjoyed that part. So of course then we get Doomsday. And you know what? I like Doomsday in this movie. I don't care what anybody says. I thought Doomsday was very Doomsday-like. See, a lot of people, they even said this before, I think Ben Affleck even addressed it, that people want instant everything. They want the final product right away, not realizing that they got to establish this. I mean, I'm telling you, Batman vs. Superman over a 12-episode season on Netflix, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, guarantee. But they're trying to cram everything in 2.5 hours, which is essentially just 2.5 episodes, so they can't really do much. They're trying to cram all this shit in there, and it's just not working fully. So we get to the end fight scene, and it's funny too because you could tell that they are really trying to let the audience know that, hey, there's no civilians around. Casualties not happening in this one, folks. They mention that a lot. Stryker Island, it's deserted. We're all good. Oh yeah, there's a monster on LexCorp. Luckily, the downtown area is after hours, so there's nobody really around. They were really trying to make it, come on people, we're not killing people this time. But of course, Wonder Woman's entrance, whoo, that's just, both times I saw it, theater cheered with that music. It's so perfect when she just and then she just starts fucking battling him. Oh man, it's just great stuff. And then of course Batman really can't do anything, but you know, he could just be like, good job guys. But I just love the fact you got 3 of them fighting it off. But Lois Lane did not need to go get the spear. Batman should have got the spear because he's not really doing anything else. Go get the spear, Batman. Why couldn't they just do that? But no, they had to put Lois in there, and then, of course, Superman had to rescue her, and then it just kind of takes you out because then you got these dramatic elements, the music goes soft again and everything. But this is where I started realizing, holy shit, they're actually going to fucking do this. I didn't think that they were going to do the death of Superman. I honestly didn't think they were going to do that. I wanted to see them fight off Doomsday, and then Doomsday, evolves a little bit, comes back for like the Man of Steel sequel, then we get that. That's what I was hoping for. I've been saying that for a while, but no, they decided to do it here, and wow, shit you not, guys, I tear up. Both times I've teared up. because I love that book. I love that book. I don't know how many times I've read that book when I was little. And just the fact that they did it here, it wasn't like fully, obviously, but, you know, wow. Just stab, boom. It's really dramatic. And then, of course, I mean, that's where you need Lois right there when she's holding on to him. I can understand that part, but just to see, like, them, like, take his body down and everything, and the music and everything, just such, it's really just deep and emotional, and I just really just, I tear up. I tear up on that part. I love that part. And then, of course, we get the whole ceremony, the funeral and everything. We got Superman, of course, is just being represented in Metropolis, while Clark Kent is also, they said he got killed, and they do the actual burying of him over here, empty box over there. I like how they did that, because what's kind of cool about that is now you really don't have to have a Clark Kent. Now you don't have to have that stupid question, oh, he's just wearing glasses. I don't think they're going to have a Clark Kent anymore, which makes sense. Kind of brilliant, if you ask me. Because we know that Superman's coming back. If you know the Death of Superman story, he does get resurrected. I'm really curious to see how they do that in the Justice League movie. And I even thought that's where they should do it, in the Justice League movie. So I'm glad that that I was right about that, and they're actually going to do that in Justice League Part 1. And it's going to be interesting to see how they resurrect him. And I like the fact that there is no Superman to start off the Justice League, and that's what Zack Snyder wanted. And I think that's quite brilliant that they're not, because obviously it's Superman. Does he really need everybody else? Not exactly, but it's nice to have help. But the fact of the matter is, they're not going to have a Superman at first with the Justice League. It's going to be led by Batman. That's fucking awesome in my book. So there's a lot to look forward to. There really is a lot to look forward to. Yes, this movie has problems. This movie has issues. There's things I did not like, and it was just, and it was messy and everything like that. But I mean, it's really crazy how people are really shitting on this movie, even though the tough reviewers and the people who just seem like they just want to see this movie fail have complimented Ben Affleck, Wonder Woman, and certain aspects of this movie. They just said it was great, but yet just the plot being messy and this, that, and this, and maybe they just didn't understand the references from the DC books, because I've answered those questions so many times in the past few days because people didn't know what the fuck it was, that they just really hate this movie. And it just doesn't make sense. They're looking forward to more Ben Affleck Batman, more Wonder Woman, and maybe even some more Flash, but yet they just want to see this movie like fail? I don't really understand that, but to each their own, I guess. It just sucks when people that I've looked up to are just really shitting on this movie. You didn't like it, cool. And I can understand people might be razzing you for hating certain things, but it's like, just pass it off. You know, you're supposed to be the bigger person. Let's do that. So there you have it, folks. There's my spoiler review. I'm sorry that it lasted so long, but I just, watch it a second time. It's a lot better the second time, obviously, just like with most movies, because you know what you're in store for, and I can't wait to see the 3-hour director's cut. They already released one deleted scene, which shows him possibly talking to Steppenwolf, possibly talking to fucking Darkseid's dad. Who knows who Lex was talking to, but that was pretty damn cool. But again, the average moviegoer would not know what the fuck that was all about. The mother boxes, did I say motherboards at first? I might have. I don't know. Little fucking Easter eggs all over the place. And a lot of people just weren't understanding them, and that did hurt the movie, because it seems like Marvel eased you into the Infinity Stone stuff, just ease you in, at the end of Avengers, not many people knew who that guy was. Oh, they found out Thanos, and then they haven't, okay, Thanos is coming, they're tease, and he'll finally come in Infinity War. Seems like Snyder and Warner Brothers and DC were just like, fuck it. Let's throw it all in right now. Which, yes, has hurt the movie a little bit, but for diehard DC fans, it was kind of fucking awesome. I'm just saying. So there you have it, folks. Let me know your thoughts about all this down below, and I appreciate you watching. I'm going to wrap this up, and yeah, guys. Bring on more, man. Bring on more. Talk to you later. And thank you for watching, you beautiful people. You go ahead and hit that thumbs up button if you'd be so kind. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Subscribe to my other channel too. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Google+, and visit filmjunkie.com for all my videos.